This is a new VIDCAST version I've been working on, and so let's get started. Straight from the Alvin Show Polling Center on Facebook. It's time for the polls, baby! For favorite horror movie villain, Freddy Krueger gets the vote with 4 votes. And then we have Jaws with 2 votes. Chucky with 1 vote. And Jason Voorhees with one vote. 1 vote! So, that's, people would rather cheer on Freddy Krueger, myself included, only because he's funny as you die. So, there you have it. And I thought Jaws was an interesting suggestion made to me by a friend of mine to put in there. So I put it in, you know, if you make a suggestion, why not, you know? But I never considered him a horror movie villain because he's an animal. And he's just doing his job. Or her job, as some might argue. Chucky, I was never that afraid of. You could pick him up and throw him. And then Jason Voorhees, I'm actually surprised didn't get as many votes. Very strange. And then one person said, I don't watch horror. And, well, they're missing out. Aren't they? Outdoor activities. What kind of outdoor activities do you like the most? Swimming got 5 votes, myself included. Also, hiking got 3 votes. Bicycling got 3 votes. Camping got 2 votes. And outdoor activities? What's that? Got 1 vote. Nobody voted for walking, jogging, or running. Interesting, that. Huh. If you could have only 1 kind of animal as a pet, which would you choose? Only 3 animals won at all. The dog got 5 votes. The cat got 4 votes. And ferrets got 2 votes. Everything else was left in the dust. Alright, favorite type of snack chip, meaning not the brand, but the food source itself. We have 4 people for yellow corn, like Doritos. 3 people for potatoes, for potato chips. And white corn got just 2 people, and nobody chose cornmeal. Very interesting. Nobody. Nobody likes Funyuns? Come on, people. Time for a refreshing new poll. Favorite soda. We've got 5 people for Coca-Cola. Just 3 for Pepsi. We got 2 people on Cherry Coke. 1 person says they no longer partake. And then we have Mountain Dew. Now, we also have Dr. Pepper, RC, Shasta, and Mr. Pibb, which was a suggestion and then never voted on. So, alrighty then. I thought some liked it hot. I guess not. For our temperature poll, what temperature do you prefer to be in? 5 people chose cool. 4 people choose cold. And nobody choose warm or hot or room temperature. So, there's that. This one kind of surprised me. The best series for strange stories, Twilight Zone got 5. And Black Mirror got 3, which is interesting because nobody voted for The Outer Limits at all, or Amazing Stories, or Dimension 404. Very, very interesting indeed. I knew most people knew about Amazing Stories and The Outer Limits. I know that Dimension 404 is kind of new. However, it's very good and narrated sometimes by Mark Hamill even. I know he was in there for a couple of them. But, yeah, Twilight Zone got 5. And Black Mirror got 3. Black Mirror is very good. It has a dark twist on just about every story. But, pretty scary stuff. What are your favorite video formats for watching movies? We had 6 people on Seat in the Theater. We had 5 people for online movie streaming houses such as Hulu and Netflix. 3 on Blu-ray. 2 on DVDs and 1 for Imagine Them because I'm flat-ass broke. And no votes for VHS, 4K Blu-ray, or Betamax. And 4K was a suggestion. You know who you are, and you didn't vote. And I told you it was okay and able to vote on it now. and you didn't choose to do so. So, sorry about that. I put it up there. Moving right along. And now for the two serious polls. If someone you know is upsetting you online, what do you do first? 4 people, including myself, said have a private talk with them. 2 people voted for ignore them, and if it gets worse, then act. 1 person voted on just unfriend them, and another person voted on block them. So we got votes for every option here on this particular poll, which is interesting. And I'd like to know what you would do. Write so in the comments. Thank you very much. On to the last poll for today. And finally, the afterlife poll. What do you believe happens after you die? 4 people chose you go into the afterlife, or you choose to reincarnate then, or later on and stay in the afterlife until then. 2 people chose other ideas, which pretty much compromised decomposition and rotting away. And 1 person voted on nothing at all, you are no longer existing. And the rest of the options are not voted on. So, that's a very interesting outcome. I expected a little bit different, but that's alright. So, those are the polls. Thank you very much for participating. You can find us on Facebook and friend me, Alvin Boyette, and join the Alvin Show Polling Center on Facebook right away. And polls are edited and started on Saturdays and erased on Fridays. So get in there and get your votes. I'm about to make some more polls after I'm done processing this video. It's meme time, screen time. These are my favorite memes from the last 2 weeks that I've collected on Facebook and Twitter. And now, some relaxing pictures of nature. Just to let you know, I am doing personalized name graphics for both Facebook and Twitter, and yes, the Twitter ones will be in the proper resolution, so they will work. And so, $5 a pop to my PayPal. The description will have the link to it. Thank you very much, and I hope to be able to draw soon for you. The next 2 videos are of Paul Harvey, the late radio broadcaster, who was famous for the rest of the story. And he had some very famous little snippets and shorts and longs and all sorts of different ad hoc radio ads that he did. And not just ads, but also just commentary on life in general. The next is a warning from 1965, If I Were to Double. And this is from truly 1965, but listen to the words, think about what he's saying, and think about how on point it is for today. And then I don't want to have something negative unless I have something positive to go along with that. So the very next is an open letter from God, also by Paul Harvey. And I think it's pretty damn inspiring, if I do say so myself.
If I were the devil. If I were the devil, If I were the Prince of Darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness, and I'd have 1/3 of its real estate and 4/5 of its population, but I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree. So I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States. I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of a serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve, do as you please. To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square. And the old I would teach to pray after me, Our Father, which art in Washington. And then I'd get organized. I'd educate authors in how to make lurid literature exciting so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I'd threaten TV with dirtier movies and vice versa. I'd peddle narcotics to whom I could. I'd sell alcohol to ladies and gentlemen of distinction. I'd tranquilize the rest with pills. If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves, and nations at war with themselves, until each in its turn was consumed. And with promises of higher ratings, I'd have mesmerizing media fanning the flames. If I were the devil, I would encourage schools to refine young intellects, but neglect to discipline emotions. Just let those run wild. Until before you knew it, you'd have to have drug-sniffing dogs and metal detectors at every schoolhouse door. Within a decade, I'd have prisons overflowing. I'd have judges promoting pornography. Soon I could evict God from the courthouse, then from the schoolhouse, and then from the houses of Congress. And in his own churches, I would substitute psychology for religion and deify science. I would lure priests and pastors into misusing boys and girls and church money. If I were the devil, I'd make the symbol of Easter an egg and the symbol of Christmas a bottle. If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who wanted until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious. And what'll you bet? I couldn't get whole states to promote gambling as the way to get rich. I would caution against extremes in hard work, in patriotism, in moral conduct. I would convince the young that marriage is old-fashioned, that swinging is more fun, that what you see on TV is the way to be. And thus I could undress you in public, and I could lure you into bed with diseases for which there is no cure. In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing. Paul Harvey. Good day. From now on, I'm quoting an open letter from God. My dear children, and believe me, that is all of you, I consider myself a pretty patient guy. I mean, look at the Grand Canyon. It took millions of years to get it right. And about evolution, boy, nothing is slower than designing that whole Darwinian thing to take place, cell by cell, gene by gene. And I have been patient through your fashions, your civilizations, wars, and schemes, and the countless ways that you take me for granted until you get yourselves into big trouble again and again. I want to let you know about some of the things that started ticking me off. First of all, your religious rivalries are driving me up a wall. Enough already. Let's get one thing straight. These are your religions, not mine. I'm the whole enchilada. I'm beyond them all. Every one of your religions claims that there's only one of me, which, by the way, is absolutely true, but in the very next breath, each religion claims that it's my favorite one, and each claims its Bible was written personally by me, and that all of the other Bibles are man-made. Oh, me. How do I ever begin to put a stop to such complicated nonsense? All right. Listen up now. I am your father and mother, and I don't play favorites among my children. Also, I hate to break it to you, but I don't write. My longhand is awful, and I've always been more of a doer anyway. So all of your books, including those Bibles, were written by men and women. They were inspired men and women. They were remarkable people, but they also made mistakes here and there, and I made sure of that so that you would never trust a written word rather than your own living heart. You see, one human being, to me, even a bum on the street, is worth more than all of the holy books in the world. That's just the kind of a guy I am. My spirit is not an historical thing. It's alive right now, as fresh as your next breath.
Holy books and religious rites are sacred and powerful, but they are not more so than the least of you. They were only meant to steer you in the right direction, not to keep you arguing with each other, and certainly not to keep you from trusting your own personal connection with me. Which brings me to my next point about your nonsense. You act like I need you and your religions to stick up for me or win souls. For my sake, please don't do me any favors. I can stand quite well on my own, thank you. I don't need you to defend me. I don't need constant credit. I just want you to be good to each other. And another thing, I don't get all worked up over money or politics, so stop dragging my name into your dramas. For example, I swear to me that I never threatened Oral Roberts. I never rode in any of Rajneesh's Rolls Royces, and I never told Pat Robertson to run for president. And I have never, ever had a conversation with Jim Baker or Jerry Falwell or Jimmy Swaggart. Of course, come Judgment Day, I certainly intend to. Now, the thing is, I want you to stop thinking of religion as some sort of a loyalty pledge to me. The true purpose of your religions is so that you can become more aware of me, not the other way around. Believe me, I know you already. I know what's in each of your hearts. And I love you anyway, with no strings attached. So lighten up and enjoy me. That's what religion's best for. What you seem to forget is how mysterious I am. You look at the petty differences in your scriptures and you say, well, if this is the truth, then that can't be. But instead of trying to figure out my paradoxes and unfathomable nature, which, by the way, you never will, why not open your hearts to the simple common threads of every religion? You know what I'm talking about. Play nice with each other. Love and respect everyone. Be kind. Even when life is scary or confusing, take courage and be of good cheer, for I'm always with you. And learn how to be quiet so that you can hear my still small voice. I don't like to shout. Leave the world a better place by living your life with dignity and gracefulness. For you are my own child. Hold back nothing from life. For the parts of you that can die surely will, and the parts that can't won't. So don't worry. Be happy. I stole that last line from Bobby McFerrin, but who gave it to him in the first place? Simple stuff now. Why do you keep making it so complicated? It's like you're always looking for an excuse to be upset. And I am very tired of your main excuse. Do you think I care whether you call me God or Yahweh or Jehovah, Allah, Wakatonka, Brahma, Father, Mother, even the void of Nirvana? Do you think I care which of my special children you feel closest to? Jesus, Mary, Buddha, Krishna, Muhammad, or any of the others? You can call me and my special ones any name you choose, if only you will go about my business of loving one another as I love you. How can you keep neglecting something so simple? No, I am not telling you to abandon your religions. Enjoy your religions. Honor them. Learn from them. Just as you should enjoy, honor, and learn from your parents. But do you walk around telling everyone that your parents are better than theirs? Your religion, like your parents, may always have the most special place in your heart. I don't mind that at all. And I don't want you to combine all of the great traditions into one big mess. Each religion is unique for a reason. Each has a unique style so that people can find the best path for themselves. But, my special children, the ones that your religions revolve around, all live in the same place, in my heart. And they get along perfectly, I assure you. The clergy must stop creating a myth of sibling rivalry where there is none. My blessed children of earth, the world has grown too small for your pervasive religious bigotries and confusion. The whole planet is now connected by air travel, satellite dishes, telephones, fax machines, rock concerts, diseases, and mutual needs and concerns. Get with the program. If you really want to help me celebrate the birthday of my son Jesus, then commit yourselves to figuring out how to feed your hungry and clothe your naked and protect your abused and shelter your poor. And just as important, make your own everyday life a shining example of kindness and good humor. I've given you all of the resources you need if only you abandon your fear of each other and begin living and loving and laughing together. Finally, my children everywhere, remember whose birthday you honor on what you call Christmas Day, December 25, and the fearlessness with which he chose to live and die. As I love him, so do I love each of you. Now, I am not really ticked off. Not really. I just wanted to grab your attention because I hate to see you suffer. But I gave you free will. So what can I do now other than try to influence you through reason, persuasion, and a little old-fashioned guilt and manipulation? After all, you know, I am the original Jewish mother. I just want you to be happy. And I'll sit in the dark. I really am, indeed, I swear, with you always, always. Trust in me. Your one and only God. End quote. Paul Harvey. Good day.
Okay, guys. This is our moment.
Let's do it! Yeah! It's showtime! We got the sound, we got the color-coordinated team look, and who doesn't love my one-liners? They fire up the team, right, guys? Oh, boy. So, does this count as a win?
Go big or go home.
Yeah, go home on a stretcher. I can fix this! I can fix this! You know what? Turns out I cannot fix this.
We're crime fighters. Let's go out and bust some bad guys.
You fight like untrained buffoons.
Someday you will be great ninjas. With a little practice. Swooping in to save the day.
It's go time!
Yeah, let's do it!
Cowabunga! Rock! We're gonna be heroes!
We just came for the free pizza.
All right. There is a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles being developed, and I saw the trailer, the teaser for the show, and it not only looks extremely strange, but they have different weapons, and it's quite different. I'm not a fan of the art style. I wasn't even a fan of the art style from the last Nickelodeon series that they did. I think what people really want to see, I would love to see a graphic novel version of the Turtles. They brought them back in Turtles Forever at the very end, because they had like the original cartoon Turtles, and then they had the more computer CGI Turtles together in one big episode, and then they joined forces at the very end with graphic novel style, but it was just like the last couple seconds that they showed up. And so it was kind of a tease, whereas I think that most Eastman and Laird fans for the Turtles would love to see an actual series done with that kind of graphic style and artwork, which I think was the very best. I had the graphic novels for the Turtles growing up, and back then the actual comic was in black and white, but the digests were in color, and the artwork was fantastic and very detailed, very gritty. They all had red headbands originally, not different colors. At any rate, I'm not sold on the new Turtles. I'll give it a chance when I get a chance to see the show. But right now, I'm telling you, we don't need any more reboots like that. I think the best thing to do, I'm all for continuations. I don't like reboots so much. Unless it's been a long time and nothing's been done on the subject for a while, then I understand the reboot. But if we've been doing countless reboots on the same material, we're never going to get to any new material, because we're going to spend all our time retelling the same origin stories over and over again. Which is quite so fascinating for people who know them backwards and forwards. Get on with the stories, people. New stories. I want you to stop and think for a little bit about where most of the racism comes from that you see on a day-to-day basis. And I want you to really think about the source of where you're hearing this from. I am not discounting the fact that racism exists. In fact, I know it exists personally. I've seen it. And it's an ugly thing. But I think most of the source of running into it happens to be provided by the media, whether it's the internet or television or the radio. If you stop and think about it, just about every occurrence of racism that you see or hear of has been a story told from the media, whether it's firsthand watching it yourself or whether you hear it from somebody else. And much fewer of the time is it actually being out and about and experiencing it. Again, I want to iterate that I know that it does exist because I've seen it firsthand. And it's just as stupid then as it is on television. You see, what we're really angry at is people's actions. And for some reason, a lot of us would rather blame the color of one's skin and say that everyone of that color is just like that. And it gives you an excuse to hate an entire race and not associate with people. But it's not an excuse, and it's absolutely stupid. You don't know your own ancestry, believe me, because unless you've done the test, you just don't know what could pop up in your bloodline. No matter how pale white you may be, you could possibly actually have some African American in you. And it's a very high possibility. The color of one's skin comes from pigments, and it comes from the location of your ancestors, where they're from. And people more equatorial are more bronzed and darker skinned, and people up north and down south are more lighter and fairer skin. And people in Asia have a yellow tone to their skin. Big deal. This is not what you're upset at. You're upset because somebody has upset you with their actions, something they did or something they said. Come right out and be an actionist. And it's much more beautiful because you're not judging them for the color of the skin. You're judging them on something they personally just did, and you're upset because of that. Come out and be true about it. That's what I'm... And it's fine to be upset, because people will upset you. And you need to, let your feelings out and tell people how you feel. But it has nothing to do with their color. Because I guarantee you, someone of your own color has upset you equally as much as someone of a different color of you has. Or if you're really super racist, you actually let people of your own color say or do anything they want, and you make excuses for them because they are your color, which is the hyper racist, which really make no sense whatsoever. I just want the American people to stop and realize that they're being fed this mess from the media. And the media and the news, they want us separated. They want to create racial strife. And they come out with all these comedians that are like so against the white people. And vice versa. You got all kinds of people on television. And you've got all black sitcoms that make fun of whites all the time. You have all white sitcoms that make black jokes. You have all white cartoons that make black jokes all the time. And it's steered that way. It's engineered to get us upset, and it's engineered to keep us divided, because divided we stand, united we fall. Okay? I mean, wake up, people. Just wake up and realize that everything is planned and staged and carefully thought out. There are no such thing as coincidences. beware of your news and your media, and start to open your eyes a little. Really listen and watch, and try to compare the number of times you run into something like actual racism out in the real world that you experience firsthand, and compare that to any story you've heard, and ask yourself, where have you heard this story from? The radio, the TV, or the media on the internet? I guarantee you it's like that. I'm just saying, open your eyes and stop being sheep. Stop being programmable. Why do you think they call it programming in the first place? That was on purpose. Again, there are no coincidences. Thank you very much. It's time for the mailbag. Yes, the Alvin Show mailbag. You can write to the address below on the screen and ask your questions, and I'll read them here, as long as they're not insanely profane or something. So let's get started. Jason Means from Denver, Colorado writes in and asks, I've seen you haven't done any shows in a little while on the YouTube channel. What's going on? Well, I took a week off last week, and there was also a crash that happened on my computer that was also part of that. And I have to get a new hard drive. And I just resectored my disk off so that it can last a little bit longer until I can do so. But I'm making new shows, and they are on separate channels now. The Alvin Show has its own channel. There's going to be a new show called the PC Alvin Show, which is about computers, and that's going to be on a separate channel, as well as Transformers Transfandom, which is going to be on its own channel. That one I'm not doing this week. I'm still gathering information for the next episode. That one will be probably a little more sporadic than weekly. I'm going to try to get it done weekly, but I'm not promising anything. There is a lot of material that I'm going through to get together the right information for the show. But yeah, we split off from the original YouTube channel, and that's just a testing grounds now. I had a long history on that channel and have done some crazy things that have been deleted. And because of that, the analytics are all off on the channel, and I want to get true analytics for these new shows that I'm doing. So in order to do so, I'm making a separate channel for the different shows. And so that's what's going on with that. And those channels will be listed in the description if you need them. But I'm hoping you will find the channels fine, because this isn't going to be on the regular YouTube channel. It's going to be on its own channel. I just hope that you're able to find it. But I have announcements all over Twitter and all over Facebook as well. Thank you very much. And George didn't provide a last name here. Not even sure where he's from. Doesn't say. So it's just an internet email. He says he likes the direction the show is going. He really liked my alternate Earth theories video, and that's what got him on my YouTube channel to begin with. Will there be more of that? Well, if it's a one-off video like that, that's some crazy theories and stuff, yes, it's going to still stay on the original YouTube channel that I have. And any testing stuff, any just crazy ideas and things are going to remain on that channel. My actual shows, however, like I just said, are going to be on separate channels. Thank you very much for writing in. That's all the mail we actually got this week. And like I said, we just started on this, so I don't expect more mail until a little bit later. But thank you everyone for listening. I appreciate everybody out there. And stay tuned for episode 13 coming up next week. Alright, let me know how you like this vidcast. If you'd rather see me in the background, let me know. Say so. But I think that this is a better format because it lends itself to more professionalism, and you don't see me wiping my eyes as much and stuff like that, and it's hard to talk in front of the camera. It's not that easy. This is much easier to do and get information out with. So thank you very much, and as I always say, remember, love is the most important thing of all. Love is the most important thing of all. See, it's early in the morning right now. I'm finishing this up. And I can't even talk. All right, folks. Thanks for watching. I love you guys. Take care.
Well,